So today it's a new canto, new book, new canto, book 2, the book of the traveler of the worlds, and canto, the world's stay. So last time we saw that Aswapathy, the protagonist of this epic, Savitri, he was on the threshold, that is, he was just about to cross the earthly atmosphere and go beyond, and he was just on the threshold and had a glimpse of all the different realms above earth, and he had also glimpsed how nature works, because by that time he has been released from the clutch of earthly nature, which is native to ignorance, limitation, and all those stuff. So now Aswapathy moves in the realms of the unknown, all that is beyond the human understanding comes into his range, where there is no limit anywhere. A boundless movement feels a boundless peace there. And beyond this earth existence, he enters into another existence where the soul freely moves in the oneness of all, and amidst the free play of the multitude of possibilities released from the eternal, infinite. So this is a beautiful one. This canto also is a beautiful one, as like others. And here Aswapathy enters into identity with the immensity, because it is immense here in these upper realms beyond earth. In earth, as we understood earlier, that it is bounded, limited in all spheres. But here, where he is poised to move and has already entered into, there is all he can see is immensity. And he also sees that every form, every movement reveals to him some aspect, some state of the ineffable, of the truth. So he has written, Sri Aurobindo has written, alone he moved, watched by the infinity around him and the unknowable above. All could be seen that shuns the mortal eye. All could be known the mind has never grasped. All could be done no mortal will can dare. On earth, one cannot see with the mortal, with the physical eyes, all those things that are present in this realm. Also, one cannot grasp with his mind, and also no mortal will can dare. A limitless movement feels a limitless peace. Then what he says, in a profound existence beyond ours, parent or kin to our ideas and dreams, where space is a vast experiment of the soul, in a deep oneness of all things that are the universe of the unknown arose. So beyond the ranges of this physical material universe where all the people on earth live, here above that, where Aswapathy has now trodden, there lies entirely a different order of creation. But although this realm is constituted differently from earth and seems to be totally strange, because these are based on different principles. It is not like earth. Although these seem to be strange, there is some kind of a resemblance, some kind of a similarity also is there, because in many ways what human mind has always imagined what human mind has always imagined, dreamed, especially those features like plasticity, beauty, harmony, these are there. Sometimes on earth also we dream about all these things but do not know, and we seem to think that all these ideas, all these thoughts are ours only. But in actuality, these originate in the realms where Aswapathy now is or has just entered into. Probably you would recall there were a lot of sci-fi movies, one or two probably we have watched also, like Star Wars, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Steven Spielberg's movies way back in 77, 78 probably. So these, if you observe minutely, then you will feel that those ideas which the director or the producer gather, these cannot be their own ideas. In fact, they are somewhere up there, and because of the pressure to manifest here on earth, they keeps on pressing, and then whoever is a little bit open, they will receive it and manifest it. And that's why we could see even in those times, way back in 70s and 80s also, there came films of those kind where we can see being with fluid body, lighted body. How come all those ideas of fluid and lighted body, how could they conceive in the first place? It is not their construction actually, not mental construction. So lot of these things, lot of ideas, lot of perceptions which normally sometimes we hold on to or come to our mind, these things are actually pressing from above to manifest. And with the least opportunity of someone being open to it, they manifest. So it is not uncommon or not a wonder that all these ideas and features that are above Earth atmosphere, where there is the spirit moves in freely and wants to manifest, are already there. And it is, in fact, it is because of the existence of these truths above and their pressure to manifest here below, that the human mind is moved to conceive or dream all these things. Another feature of this realm is that the infinite, the eternal, pours himself there freely. Unlike the multiplicity that we see in the earthly atmosphere, varieties, so many ways operates every day differently. There it is something else. It is not of multiplicity, but at the same time, all are there, but in unison. There is a profound oneness there which is pervading and which holds everything under its own sway. So that is another feature. Then a self-creation without end or pause revealed the grandeurs of the infinite. It flung into the hedges of its play a million moods, a myriad energies, the world shapes that are fancies of its truth and the formulas of the freedom of its force. So it is a continuous movement of becoming the infinite being. It is not a construction limited to mind only and space and time only, but it is an endless, unbounded manifestation of the eternal divine glory. And in doing so, the creative being, that is the divine, pours himself out into the different states of consciousness, a multitude of its jets of force. And each form is based upon some idea in the underlying truth. Each creation represents a formulation of free workings of the power of the truth. It is there originally, eternally, and it pours itself down to become multiple. It poured into the ever-stable flux a Bacchic rapture and revel of ideas, a passion and motion of everlastingness. So the movement of the manifestation proceeds from the bosom of the unmoving, the permanent one, that is the eternal divine, the status of which is permanent, sthanu it is called. And this manifestation, what we see here, is the ecstatic dance of Shiva. Shiva represents manifestation of the existence, rapturously throwing into the figures of innumerable truths in different words, pressing for expression. So, this caption line, in a deep oneness of all things that are, the universe of the unknown arose. So, Aswapathy now sees that it is totally a different universe which arose, which exists there in the realm beyond earth, and he is poised to move step by step, world after world, So we'll find a lot of other things also in future. And with this, today we end the session, but not the session actually. I would just like to share some other things also, like last time, in which I would like to share some very beautiful words of the mother regarding Savitri. Although lot of us know it very well, for all of us, it is very useful as a reminder to ourselves that what Savitri can do to us, even if we do not understand it mentally, what the vibration of the Supreme Truth can do in us, penetrating into our being, it is something else. And for the uninitiated who who haven't come across this peace, that will be a wonderful uh, gift of blessings from the mother herself. And she revealed it to one of her children we know by the name of Mana, the Mana Sharkar. And I just cannot refrain myself from reading the whole thing. I do not know how far we can go. Initially, I thought that I would just read out a small passage, but afterwards, I have seen that there is enough time. So why should we not take the whole thing itself? The mother on Savitri, a talk to a young disciple. In fact, it was Monada's birthday when he visited the mother. So mother asks Monada, "Do you read Savitri?" He says, "Yes, mother, yes." "You have read the whole poem?" Again he replies, "Yes, mother, I have read it twice." Have you understood all that you have read?" Mother asks. Then mother replies again, "Not much, but I like poetry. That is why I read it." Then mother continues to share with us the glory of Savitri, which go like this. "It does not matter if you do not understand it. That is Savitri. Read it always. You will see that every time you read it, something new will be revealed to you. Each time you will get a new glimpse, each time a new experience, things which were not there, things you did not understand, arise and suddenly become clear. Always an unexpected vision comes up through the words and lines. Every time you try to read and understand, you will see that something is added. Something which is hidden behind is revealed clearly and vividly. I tell you, the very verses you have read once before will appear to you in a different light each time you reread them. This is what happens invariably. Always your experience is enriched. It is a revelation at each step. But you must not read it as you read other books or newspapers. You must read it with an empty head, a blank and vacant mind, without there being any other thought. You must concentrate much, remain empty, calm and open. Then the words, rhythms, vibrations will penetrate directly to this white page, will put their stamp upon the brain, will explain themselves without your making any effort. Savitri alone is sufficient to make you climb to the highest peaks. If truly one knows how to meditate on Savitri, one will receive all the help one needs. For him who wishes to follow this path, it is a concrete help, as though the Lord Himself were taking you by the hand and leading you to the destined goal. And then every question, however personal it may be, has its answer here. Every difficulty finds its solution herein. Indeed, there is everything that is necessary for doing the yoga. He has crammed the whole universe in a single book. It is a marvelous work, magnificent, and of an incomparable perfection. You know, before writing Savitri, Sri Aurobindo said to me, I am impelled to launch on a new adventure. I was hesitant in the beginning, but now I am decided. Still, I do not know how far I shall succeed. I pray for help. And you know what it was? It was, before beginning, I warn you in advance. It was his way of speaking, so full of divine humility and modesty. He never asserted himself. And the day he actually began it, he told me, I have launched myself in a rudderless boat upon the vastness of the infinite. And once having started, he wrote page after page without intermission, as though it were a thing already complete up there, and he had only to transcribe it in ink down here on these pages. In truth, the entire form of Savitri has descended en masse from the highest regions, and Sri Aurobindo with his genius only arranged the lines in a superb and magnificent style. Sometimes entire lines were revealed, and he has left them intact. He worked hard, untiringly, so that the inspiration could come from the highest possible summit. And what a work he has created! Yes, it is a true creation in itself. It is an unequal work. Everything is there, and it is put in such a simple, such a clear form. Verses perfectly harmonious, limpid, and eternally true. My child, I have read so many things, but I have never come across anything which could be compared with Savitri. I have studied the best works in Greek, Latin, English, and of course in French literature, also in German, and all the great creations of the West and the East, including the great epics. But I repeat it, I have not found anywhere anything comparable with Savitri. All these literary works seem to me empty, flat, hollow, without any deep reality, apart from a few rare exceptions. And these too represent only a small fraction of what Savitri is. What grandeur, what amplitude, what reality! It is something immortal and eternal he has created. I tell you once again, there is nothing like it in the whole world. Even if one puts aside the vision of the reality that is, the essential substance which is the heart of the inspiration, and considers only the lines in themselves, one will find them unique, of the highest classical kind. What he has created is something man cannot imagine, for everything is there, everything. It may then be said that Savitri is a revelation, it is a meditation, it is a quest of the infinite, the eternal. If it is read with this aspiration for immortality, to read Savitri is indeed to practice yoga, spiritual concentration. One can find there all that is needed to realize the divine. Each step of yoga is noted here, including the secret of all other yogas. Surely, if one sincerely follows what is revealed here in each line, one will reach finally the transformation of the supramental yoga. It is truly the infallible guide who never abandons you. Its support is always there for him who wants to follow the path. Each verse of Savitri is like a revealed mantra which surpasses all that man possessed by way of knowledge. And I repeat this, the words are expressed and arranged in such a way that the sonority of the rhythm leads you to the origin of sound, which is Om. My child, yes, everything is there. Mysticism, occultism, philosophy, the history of evolution, the history of man, of the gods, of creation, of nature, how the universe was created, why, for what purpose, what destiny, all is there. You can find all the answers to all your questions there. Everything is explained, even the future of man and of the evolution. All that nobody yet knows. He has described it all in beautiful and clear words so that spiritual adventurers who wish to solve the mystery of the world may understand it more easily. But this mystery is well hidden behind the words and lines, and one must rise to the required level of true consciousness to discover it. All prophecies, all that is going to come is presented with a precise and wonderful clarity. Sri Aurobindo gives you here the key to find the truth, to discover the consciousness, to solve the problem of what the universe is. He has also indicated how to open the door of the inconscience so that the light may penetrate there and transform it. He has shown the path, the way to liberate oneself from the ignorance and climb up to the superconscious. Each stage, each plane of consciousness, how they can be scaled, how one can cross even the barrier of death and attain immortality. You will find the whole journey in detail, and as you go forward, you can discover things altogether unknown to man. That is Savitri and much more yet. It is a real experience, reading Savitri. All the secrets that man possesses, he has revealed, as well as all that awaits him in the future. All this is found in the depth of Savitri. But one must have the knowledge to discover it all. The experience of the planes of consciousness, the experience of the supermind, even the experience of the conquest of death. He has noted all the stages, marked each step in order to advance integrally in the integral yoga. All this is his own experience. And what is most surprising is that it is my own experience also. That is Mother's own experience. It is my sadhana which he has worked out. Each object, each event, each realization, all the descriptions, even the colors are exactly what I saw, and the words, phrases are also exactly what I heard. And all this before having read the book. I read Savitri many times afterwards, but earlier, when he was writing, he used to read it to me. Every morning I used to hear him read Savitri. Mark these lines. During the night, he would write, and in the morning, read it to me. And I observed something curious, that day after day, the experiences he read out to me in the morning were those I had had the previous night, word by word. Yes, all the descriptions, the colors, the pictures I had seen, the words I had heard, all. I heard it all, put by him into poetry, into miraculous poetry. Yes, they were exactly my experiences of the previous night, which he read out to me the following morning. And it was not just one day by chance, but for days and days together. And every time I used to compare what he said with my previous experiences, and they were always the same. I repeat, it was not that I had told him my experiences. No, he knew already what I had seen. It is my experiences he has presented at length, and they were his experiences also. It is, moreover, the picture of our joint adventure into the unknown, or rather into the supermind. These are experiences lived by him, realities, supracosmic truths. He experienced all these as one experiences joy or sorrow, physically. He walked into the darkness of inconscience, even in the neighborhood of death, endured the sufferings of perdition, and emerged from the mud, the worldly misery, to breathe the sovereign plenitude and enter the supreme Ananda. He crossed all these realms, went through the consequences, suffered and endured physically what one cannot imagine. Nobody till today has suffered like him. He accepted suffering to transform suffering into the joy of union with the Supreme. It is something unique and incomparable in the history of the world. He is the first to have traced the path in the unknown, so that we may be able to walk with certitude towards the supermind. He has made the work easy for us. Savitri is his whole yoga of transformation, and this yoga appears now for the first time in the earth consciousness. And I think that man is not yet ready to receive it. She jokingly says so. It is too high and too vast for him. He cannot understand it, grasp it, for it is not by the mind that one can understand Savitri. One needs spiritual experiences in order to understand and assimilate it. The farther one advances on the path of yoga, the more does one assimilate, and the better. No, it is something which will be appreciated only in the future. It is the poetry of tomorrow, of which he has spoken in the future poetry, the book Future Poetry. It is too subtle, too refined. It is not in the mind or through the mind. It is in meditation that Savitri is revealed. Then she adds, and men have the audacity to compare it with the work of Virgil and Homer and to find it inferior. They do not understand. They cannot understand. What do they know? Nothing at all. And it is useless to try to make them understand. Men will know what it is, but in a distant future. It is only the new race with the new consciousness which will be able to understand it. I assure you, there is nothing under the blue sky to compare with Savitri. It is the mystery of the mysteries. It is a super epic. It is super literature, super poetry, super vision. It is a super work, even if one considers the number of lines he has written. No, these human words are not adequate to describe Savitri. She laments. Yes, one needs superlatives, hyperboles to describe it. It is a hyper-epic. No, words express nothing of what Savitri is. At least I do not find them. It is of immense value, spiritual value and all other values. It is eternal in its subject and infinite in its appeal, miraculous in its mode and power of execution. It is a unique thing. The more you come in contact with it, the higher will you be uplifted. Ah, truly it is something. It is the most beautiful thing he has left for man, the highest possible. What is it? When will man know it? When is he going to lead a life of truth? When is he going to accept this in his life? This yet remains to be seen. My child, every day you are going to read Savitri. Read properly, with the right attitude, concentrating a little before opening the pages and trying to keep the mind as empty as possible, absolutely without a thought. The direct road is through the heart. I tell you, if you try to really concentrate with this aspiration, you can light the flame, the psychic flame, the flame of purification in a very short time, perhaps in a few days. What you cannot do normally, you can do with the help of Savitri. Try, and you will see how very different it is, how new. Read with this attitude, with this something at the back of your consciousness, as though it were an offering to Sri Aurobindo. You know it is charged, fully charged with consciousness, as if Savitri were a being, a real guide. I tell you, whoever wanting to practice yoga tries sincerely and feels the necessity for it, will be able to climb with the help of Savitri to the highest rung of the ladder of yoga, will be able to find the secret that Savitri represents. And this without the help of a guru. And he will be able to practice it anyway. For him, Savitri alone will be the guide. For all that he needs, he will find in Savitri. If he remains very quiet while facing a difficulty, or when he does not know where to turn to go forward and how to overcome obstacles, for all these hesitations and incertitudes which overwhelm us at every moment, he will have the necessary indications and the necessary concrete help. If he remains very calm, open, if he aspires sincerely, always he will be as if led by the hand. If he has faith, the will to give himself an essential sincerity, he will reach the final goal. Finally, she adds, indeed, Savitri is something concrete, living. It is all replete, packed with consciousness. It is the supreme knowledge above all human philosophies and religions. It is the spiritual path. It is yoga, tapasya, sadhana, everything in its single body. Savitri has an extraordinary power. It gives out vibrations for him who can receive them, the true vibrations of each stage of consciousness. It is incomparable. It is truth in its plenitude, the truth Sri Aurobindo brought down on the earth. My child, one must try to find the secret that Savitri represents. The prophetic message Sri Aurobindo reveals there for us. This the work before you. It is hard, but it is worth the trouble. Blessings. It was dated 5/11/1967. So you can gauge the immensity, the magnitude of reading Savitri properly with right attitude, with aspiration, and it can change our lives altogether, irrespective of the stage in which we languish now. So these are the reminders to us. Time and again, should we not be reading all these? So that's it for the day. I'm sure all of you have realized how important it is for us to go through Savitri daily with aspiration in our heart.